Hey everyone, I'm Pacific the Casual Gamer. Whoa, my voice sounds like I'm going through puberty again. But anyways, welcome to another vlog. And in this vlog, I would like to talk about the thumbnails actually, and how they kind of help me understand me a little bit better. They help me give insights about myself. I'll give you guys a little background story. I was that kid in school that hated art. I think art made me so angry as a kid, even up to like 18. I hated art. And that was because my teachers made me do physical art, right? And a lot of the teachers I had, were very much into the whole on paper, draw lines, use perspective, type of just like very rigid art, And I think because I wasn't a talented kid, the teachers never gave me the opportunity to, go full subjective. When I was going through school, both in college and in high school and middle school, any art class that I ever took, it was all about, okay, you are going to make an art piece, and you're going to do XYZ in this art piece. Or you're going to do, like, break it down black and white, The only art projects that I ever did really well on was anything related to digital. If I could manipulate it digitally, right? I had a project where you had to take two images that were different but similar and combine them together to make them look like one image. So I took a picture of like a flower and some oval thing, and I just cut it up into lines, and I got an A on it because look at that, Jared can do digital stuff, So then the other project I did really well on was I had to hand draw. I had to take a picture of a house, and I had to take it, and it was all complicated. I had to draw it in black and white, and like make it more and more blurry, basically, so that there was like the house, one draft, and then another draft, and that second draft only used 5 shades: white, black, and 3 shades of gray. And I did really well on that, right? Because that's a skill that I really like in Photoshop. I love blurring things, so of course it's easy for me and I understand it. And even with that, I think that I have more of an appreciation for thumbnails than I do for the video editing process, because the thumbnails really show what I'm thinking. When I film a video, there's a specific mindset that I'm in, which is explain the story, right? If you look at my YouTube videos, I'm pretty good at sit down in front of the camera like I am now and explain the thing. I don't need to use other images. I don't need to use B-roll. I definitely haven't really dipped into the cinematics as much as I thought I would. I can still do some cinematics, but generally speaking, I sit in front of a camera, or I hold a camera up and I tell the thing, And so it's very easy for me to look at it and be like, well, the message got across, the tone was good, boom, done. I was egotistical looking on the camera. Okay, I understand that. Art, on the other hand, it takes me a little longer. A lot of the times when I watch a YouTube video, I can understand it in one shot if it's going to be one that I will look back on and be like, yeah, that was good, or no, it was not good. When it comes to the thumbnail, it's a little bit different. I have a hard time sometimes understanding what makes a thumbnail good and what makes a thumbnail bad. The last time I live streamed making thumbnails, there was a thumbnail I made for a video titled, and the thumbnail, I called it the big sad thumbnail, right? And I didn't understand why it didn't seem correct to me, why it didn't feel like my message was getting across. And I never figured it out. I kind of added stuff to it and, shall we say, educatedly guessed my way to making a thumbnail that I was like, okay, I like this one. Then I made another one called The Big Happy, and that one I realized, oh, it was the colors that made this thumbnail work and the intensity in the background. So the other one was like, and the happy one was like, yeah. Then there was one other one that I made about, I don't know, getting hired. And it showed that you could tell that in that thumbnail I was getting tired mentally because I just put it together more slowly. It had some professional look to it, but the in general kind of quality of it, the quality of this, the subjective, it looks really professional quality, was down a little bit. The framing took a while to get good, all of that. And so when I look at thumbnails, it's an insight into what I'm thinking. Instead of watching and listening, if I want a picture of a sad face and I have a really hard time making a sad face, like one time I tried to take 100 pictures for YouTube art and I couldn't get the right face because I was so tired that I couldn't make any emotion. I couldn't express myself, right? And then there was another time I'm too sick to really express myself. I had to go deep. I remember one time to feel emotion, I had to watch a video that my girlfriend sent me that was sad, right? That really made me feel really sad, to feel any kind of emotion. And then I got my sad face picture, and then I got my happy face picture and all that. So, when I'm making thumbnails, I see what colors I like. I really like blues and oranges. I think that's kind of apparent when I make my thumbnails. Blues and oranges, and I like big shapes. And I like asymmetry. I hate symmetry by thumbnails. If you look at my thumbnails, I don't like no symmetry. I like focus. I like, hey, look at this part. I really like that kind of like, I hate busy backgrounds. I don't like busy backgrounds. And so that gives me an insight into what I like to look at. I like to look at my thumbnails and I'm like, okay, let's do a quick look and see, what I focus on. What don't I focus on? I don't like using red text. I'm okay with yellow. Yellow's acceptable. I don't like green. I don't like purple's acceptable. But green and red I don't really like using. Orange I really like using because orange is my favorite color. And you can tell that the thumbnails that I get excited about the most, the thumbnails that I look at and I'm like, wow, that's a good thumbnail, they're all thumbnails that use orange. Like a Siege thumbnail, Rainbow Six Siege. I used the flaming crossbow guy, Capiteo. And so the whole freaking background was flames. I was like, that's a good thumbnail. And then I made one, it was like Rook and Doc, and their primary colors are blue. And I'm like, that's an okay thumbnail. Even though that thumbnail was probably, honestly, better than the Capiteo one because it was not as busy. But it's things like that. My thumbnail about being sad was blue, and I like the color blue, but I didn't like the thumbnail. The thumbnail about being happy was simpler. That probably not as good as the sad one, but I liked it more because it was orange. So I think when we look at our own artwork, when we watch what we do, and we, not self-criticize, but self-analyze what we're doing when we do it, I think it gives us an insight into ourselves. And I think that I just started to notice that recently. Why do I like white text with a black outline and I don't like black text with a white outline? Why don't I like, why do I really, really like shadows behind my white text? Because it's readable. And I don't like hard to read things. Simple as that. And then, of course, that leads into, technically it's more clickable because the text is easier to read and all that. Trying to objectify science, make art objective and all that. So that's really all I have to say about this vlog. It was an observation I noticed about myself where I was just noticing, oh, it was really difficult that day to capture an emotional picture. Or I really like oranges, and I really like blues, and I don't like so much reds and greens. Even though green's the opposite of orange, green text looks really nice with an orange background. But yeah, that's all I really got to say. Thank you for watching. I didn't even know I was going to make this video until 5 seconds before I recorded it. I was like, wow, this is going to be a good video. So that's it. This has been another video on Life of Pacific about the crazy, wacky, weird world of my brain and what I decide to make videos about. Yeah, I'm Pacific Casual Gamer, and I'll see you guys in the next one.